Tony Khan, you know what to do. It's time to finish the story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about WWE releases and just how insane the releases are in 2026. As I did not do a video covering the releases last week, so I'm going to talk about them here, while also talking about the releases of JC Mateo, Tongaloa, and the shocking release of The New Day. And we do have an updated report about even more pay cuts potentially happening behind the scenes at WWE, with more talent being asked to take pay cuts, which is insane given how much revenue TKO WWE is making right now. So let's go into the releases last week, because last week the releases happened and it just didn't make sense, because some of the talent were in actual storylines and were literally used like a week before they were even released. And that brings me to the Wyatt Sicks, because the Wyatt Sicks, the entire faction got released from the WWE a week after they were in a street fight at on the SmackDown before WrestleMania against the MFTs, who this past Saturday literally just saw JC Mateo and Tongaloa get released. So you have what is that, 10 people? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 out of 10 people in that match literally being released a week apart. That is insane. I mean, I posted the short video of the Wyatt Sicks final entrance here on my YouTube channel, but I didn't think that that would be their final entrance. I was planning on using that as part of my WrestleMania 42 experience video, talking about my experience, throwing in clips that I recorded at SmackDown, Raw, WrestleMania. But for that to be the last entrance of the Wyatt Sicks, I mean, it's incredible. And it's just one of those things to me where I think, just in general, even if you go back to Bray Wyatt under Vince, the WWE just simply never knew how to book spooky characters like the Wyatt Sicks. Or the Wyatt family even. So it's just one of those things where they never could figure out how to book them properly. And even when you look at the Fiend's booking, I mean, the WWE just simply never knew how to book, whether it was the Wyatt family, the Fiend, or the Wyatt Sicks. They just never could grasp the identity and the proper booking of these characters. And for me, I personally hope that the Wyatt Sicks at least goes to TNA. Now, I know there's the WWE connection where the partnership with TNA, NXT, but when you look at TNA, you look at stuff like the Undead Realm. TNA gave us the Broken Hardys, right? Or Broken Matt Hardy, Brother Nero, the Hardy Compound. TNA knew how to book the spooky kind of characters that the Wyatt Sicks are. you know, and I think that would be perfect for them if they were to go there, you know, be a part of the undead realm and, you know, everything else there within TNA. I think that would be interesting. Now, saying on the subject of spooky characters, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega were also released last week, and that's just mind-boggling to me because if we are to go off of rumors, you know, the rumor mill was before TKO forced Pat McAfee into the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes feud that it was supposed to have been Aleister Black in that role. And in a way, I think that would have further explained, I think, Randy Orton's loss. You know, Aleister trying to drag out Randy Orton's old persona, the bad side of Randy Orton, the 2009 Randy Orton that was referenced during the by Cody Rhodes. And for Randy to kind of maybe ignore Aleister, thinking he doesn't need to do that, and then that being the reason he lost, and then potentially Randy Orton, Aleister Black, maybe having a feud post WrestleMania because Aleister says, hey, he was right, you know, that Randy didn't tap into that dark side or whatever. You know, I don't want to go into a fantasy booking video here, but yeah, I think that would have better explained why Randy Orton would have lost to Cody Rhodes and why Cody retained than what we got, right? Now, obviously, you know, Randy Orton, if his back is acting up, is, you know, again, obviously that throws a wrench into a lot of things. But, again, Aleister Black pinned Randy Orton, pinned Sami Zayn. Literally, Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania. Sami Zayn walked into WrestleMania as a United States champion, and Aleister Black pinned them both in the lead up to WrestleMania. And a guy who was rumored to have been, who was supposed to have been involved in a WrestleMania main event feud with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, getting released a week later. Something's not adding up. And we look here, the rest of this list here, you know, Zoe Stark, I mean, I feel bad for Zoe because she was injured, and I know she was making her, trying, you know, rehabbing, healing up to come back, and just to get released just kind of sucks. Like, you get injured, then you're getting ready to come back, and then you get released. It kind of sucks. Andre Chase, you know, I mean, again, I think there was a cap, you know, a little limit in terms of Andre Chase because he was always kind of stuck in the Chase U gimmick. He could never break free of that. He never could find something else to break him free to do something outside of that gimmick. So I could see maybe this is why the WWE let him go. Dante Chen, Apollo Crews, the Motor City Machine Guns, which I'll talk about more in a minute when I talk about the New Day. Santos Escobar, and obviously the one that everyone is talking about is Kairi Sane. You know, this is another one that is baffling because, again, we talk about Aleister Black, what he was doing before he was released, and how prominently featured he was. Literally, Asuka and Io, who are having a match at Backlash this Saturday, the whole point of their feud literally got released because this whole thing was supposed to be over Kairi Sane, and people thought maybe this could be a WrestleMania match, but it was not. And so now the match is taking place at Backlash, but the whole point of the match just got released. So, I mean, at this point, you know, I liked what they did with Io and Becky Lynch last week on Raw, where Io Sky took on Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. At this point, I wouldn't mind, and I'm recording this before Raw tonight, where maybe Becky Lynch does another open challenge, Asuka answers the open challenge, and then Io costs Asuka the match, and this somehow turns into a triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, where instead of Asuka and Io, we get Asuka, Io, and Becky Lynch in a triple threat match, and then you could just parlay Asuka and Io where they pretty much cancel each other out and Becky can retain, but it would be at least something where there's at least something on the line because Kairi Sane is not there. So at least if you even throw Becky Lynch into the match for a triple threat, at least one, it would be entertaining. Two, it would probably be one of the best matches on the card. And three, it gives us something of a fun match to what again, it gives us a fun match that we can look back on and say this could be a match of the year contender. But now there are reports, and these are rumors, that Kairi Sane may come back to finish her story with Asuka and Io, which, I mean, if the company is letting you go before the story could even finish, why would you come back to finish the story just to leave it again? Like, that doesn't make any sense either. But people have been talking about, oh, what if Kairi is this year's R-Truth? Kairi shows up at Backlash and she costs Asuka the match against Io and she makes her grand return, whatever. But, like, I don't see that happening. Like, could Kairi come back? Sure, but does she want to come back? I mean, she's been released twice by the WWE in, like, the past 5 years, so why would she want to come back at this point? It would be like if Jon Moxley was a free agent, right? And WWE was like, hey, we can sell a lot of Shield merchandise. All right, John, we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna have this big blow off. Seth, you, and Roman triple threat WrestleMania night 1 main event or night 2 main event, whatever. All right, the match is over. Everyone loves it. And then like the next week, all right, cool. We made a lot of money off the Shield stuff, so John, we're gonna let you go. Like, we just brought you back to do the Shield shit. Like, literally, it would be like that. That would be the equivalent of that, right? So, I mean, it's crazy, right? But yeah, I mean, that's the list of that from last week. Just a few of the names here. So let's go into the New Day now because, oh my gosh, WWE is literally giving to AEW two of the best tag teams on the planet to AEW. The New Day. Guys who were supposedly, WWE lifers, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. Now look, I don't blame Kofi and Xavier if, let's say, they decided to not renew their deals, because, I mean, creatively, the WWE has not given them much to work with. And so I could have seen a world where, again, Kofi and Xavier would have said, you know what, we're going to go somewhere else. And I would have understood it. And I think a lot of fans would have understood it. We talk about the fact that they never paid off the Big E angle, right? They could never figure out what to do with it. They squandered it. One of the best heel turns where literally there was no fighting, no beating someone up, no attacking anyone. It was a verbal beatdown of Big E. And it was done perfectly. One of the best segments we've seen in WWE in a long time. And the WWE did nothing with it. I talked about the fact that they didn't know how to book the Wyatt family. They didn't know how to book Bray Wyatt. They don't really know how to book tag teams. That seems to be the creative Achilles heel in the WWE, where they just don't know how to book tag teams. Because now you're talking about the Motor City Machine Guns being on this list, along with the New Day, and it's like, why? They could have done so much more. Kofi, Xavier could have done so much more. And you think how much Xavier Woods is involved with WWE 2K. You know, like Xavier brings a lot of value to the WWE off screen, right? So again, Kofi and Xavier being released, I mean, it's crazy. And I want to post here the Kofi and Xavier kind of posted on Twitter their statements after being released, and I'll get into a bigger story after this. Um, so let's start with Kofi Kingston here. So this is like a very long tweet here. I'm just gonna post. I'm not. Let's see. It's taken me 2 full days to respond to all my texts. I hadn't been on social media until today, and I'm overwhelmed by all the messages. So much love. I can't help but to be filled completely with gratitude. My story has been nothing short of remarkable, and I am truly blessed to have had such an illustrious, accolading, and most importantly, fun-filled career. I made my childhood dreams become the most wonderful reality. Throughout this journey, I'm so thankful to have been surrounded by great people, by great friends, and to have built so many unbreakable connections with people that I'm very proud to call my family. Most people go through life without ever experiencing a love like I have for Woods and E. That bond alone would have made this whole experience worth it. There are far too many people to mention by name, but to everyone who has ever supported me, guided me, helped me, cheered for me, praised me, stood up, and even rooted against me, thank you. I appreciate you more than words can say. Now, let's go to Austin Creed here, Xavier Woods, who also posted a very long tweet. I do think it's interesting that Kofi Kingston did not thank WWE in his statement. Austin Creed, for the past 16 years, WWE has been my home. It's where I grew up, found myself, failed, learned, and got to live out things a younger version of me could only dream about. When I first walked into FCW, I just wanted a chance to prove I belonged and to bring something different to professional wrestling. That chance became a life full of moments I'll carry with me forever. WrestleMania, championships, King of the Ring, arenas around the world, and the gift of connecting with all of you by myself. The New Day gave me a bond with Kofi and Big E that I'll cherish for life. You believed in us even when our ideas were wild, and because of that, we got to show people that being unapologetically yourself is a strength. And again, it's a very long tweet. I'm not going to read all of it here. But yeah, I think it's interesting that Kofi did not thank the WWE in his tweet. Xavier was a little more professional about it. I think in terms of, thanking the producers, the rest of the locker room, and essentially thanking WWE. But I do think it's interesting that Kofi did not. And that does lead me to the next reports, is that the WWE, or is that TKO, is asking talent to take pay cuts. And it started with the rumor that the New Day, who did sign new deals last year with the company, to take a pay cut and to renegotiate their deal. Now, this was after they signed them, re-signed deals last year. And again, just remember, Aleister Black signed last year. JC Mateo signed last year. Tongaloa signed a deal in 2024. All of them are now gone. So, when you look at the fact that New Day signed new deals last year, and then a year later, TKO comes to them and says, we need to renegotiate. And now there's reports that even TKO is asking even more talent to take pay cuts, and that someone, apparently, the rumor mill is, someone took a 50% pay cut. I don't know who it is, but, I mean, I don't know. The WWE is going to look a lot different, I think, by the end of the year. If this is what we're dealing with here in April, post WrestleMania, where WWE lifers like Kofi and Xavier, people that we thought would be WWE lifers, are being let go, being asked to take pay cuts. It goes back a couple years ago even. Remember Edge? Edge's contract was up. He had a new deal from WWE. He decided to go to AEW. And again, people were like, oh, Edge is a WWE lifer. There's no way he'll go to AEW. And obviously, yes, the whole thing with him finishing his career with Christian, I get it. That played a major role in his decision. And I'm completely happy with that decision because him going to AEW, having matches with guys that we thought he would never have matches with, I'm excited for that. Excited me about him going to AEW. And just for him personally to be able to finish his career with his best friend. That to me, I think is probably the major factor of him going to AEW. But again, you think, oh, he's a WWE lifer, right? Edge, he's a WWE lifer. Kofi Kingston, he's a WWE lifer. Xavier Woods, oh, he has all this stuff with 2K. There's no way they're going to let him go. Like I said, if they're letting talent go like Kofi and Woods, look, I don't know if it's because they want to get younger. I don't know if TKO doesn't see the value in the older guys like a Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who could potentially be mentors, trainers potentially. AJ Styles, he retired. I think now he has a deal where he's a trainer at the Performance Center or he's a talent scout or something. So, why can't Kofi and Woods get a similar deal? So, it's crazy right now in WWE to see all these reports coming out where talent's being asked to take pay cuts. And apparently a major name took a 50% pay cuts to stay with the WWE. At this point, like I said, TKO is going this company, the WWE as we know it in April of 2026, is going to look a lot different by December 2026. With the way things are going, that is going to be the case. And I'm not talking about from a creative standpoint, storyline standpoint. I'm talking strictly who is with the company now and who will not be with the company by December. Let me know in your comments below, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to get this video up before Monday Night Raw. So let me know your thoughts on the releases. Do you think that they'll land in AEW, New Japan, TNA? Let me know where you want to see some of these guys who got released go. And as always, I produce weekly wrestling content here on the channel. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. And tomorrow, I'll be giving you my Backlash predictions, including what I think John Cena will be doing at Backlash.